My week is not complete until I take a stab at cryptocurrency and those who invest in it. In fact, right now, I'm part of a Discord where I regularly go in, troll, and grief the people who I bet against, who bet against me, and who told me, like I was on all these stupid ass YouTube panels, and I'll never let them live it down. In fact, I've copied those videos of those panels. I was coming on there trying to warn people. It's like, hey guys, don't invest in this Reddit shit. Stay away from it. It's a pump and dump. I was on these crypto panels and I was letting them have it. I told them, I was like, yo, guys, listen, if you put your money in this shit, you're going to regret it. Oh, no, no, no. The technology is sound. We going to the moon. We going to Pluto. We going to Jupiter. We going to Mars. You stupid. You don't know what you're talking about. You dumb. You don't know what you're talking about. You should stick to cars. You don't even do that right. You should stick to cars. You don't know what you're talking about. You should stick to talking about airplanes, and you stick to talking about cars, and you should stick to talking about stocks, because you don't know what you're talking about. You don't understand crypto. You full of FOMO. You FOMO. You full of FOMO. Listen, everybody, don't pay attention to big truck. Buy the dip. Buy the dip, everybody. Buy the dip. All of that shit came to a motherfucking end, didn't it? All of that came to an end, didn't it? Man, I can hear their voices in my head. All of my detractors, all of my naysayers, they live rent-free in my head. I'm not afraid to admit it. I don't care. While I am busy selling oil stock and selling tech stock to buy a brand new electric Cadillac that plugs into my fucking house, these dudes are barely paying their rent. These dudes are in mommy and daddy's basement still dreaming about how they can get rich by investing in XRP Ripple. These dudes are still talking smack about how Bitcoin going to explode, Ethereum going to explode, Litecoin going to the moon. All of my naysayers, from GameStop, from AMC. Oh, you don't know what you're talking about, Big Truck. You should just stick to cars. AMC's going to the moon. We got a short squeeze going right now. We got a short squeeze going. We got a short squeeze. Where are they now? Where are they now? I remember everybody was convinced, thanks to Dogecoin, everybody thought they'd be driving around in Bugattis by now. Oh yeah, I'm going to have a multi-million-dollar house, and I'm going to invite you to the house just to laugh in your face. You don't know what you're talking about. I'm investing Dogecoin. I'm investing XRP Ripple. I got my money right there with El Salvador. Man, you stupid. Don't you know that El Salvador is invested in Bitcoin? Don't you know it's going to 100,000? You a fool. What are you talking about? Ripple's going to the moon. Ripple's going to Jupiter. Don't you know the SEC ain't got nothing on Ripple? They ain't got nothing on Ripple. Dogecoin, you don't know nothing about Dogecoin. What are you talking about? Dogecoin's going to the moon. We going to the moon. We got safe moon. We got safe Mars. We invested in safe moon, safe Mars. We are planning a safe trip to Mars. We are planning a safe trip to the moon. We are planning a safe trip to Jupiter. You gonna be left right here on Earth with the rest of these people because you ain't going nowhere. You out of it. You are full of FOMO. You missed out. You full of FOMO. Where are they now? Where are they now? I can hear their voices. Where are they now? Where are they? While I'm cashing out money from my oil gains, while I'm cashing out money from all of the tech gains that I made buying $2,000 pistols, buying $2,000 computer parts, these dudes Right now, they in their mommy's basement listening to mommy. Kevin? Kevin! Kevin, when you come upstairs, bring the pan of macaroni out the refrigerator, Kevin. Kevin, do you hear me? Kevin, get off that game. That's what they're doing right now. They're playing fucking Xbox and PS5 in their mommy's basement right now. That's what they're doing. Because most of them they can't even afford to fucking rent. Rent in some of these places $2,000-$3,000 a month for a 1-bedroom apartment, which they thought that they'd be out of by now because AMC's going to the moon. AMC's going to Jupiter. We going to Pluto, Neptune, and Uranus. We going to Calypso. Where are they now? I hear their voices, but where are they? So, long story short, I'm not going to make this too long because I think I've made my point. Crypto scam victims seek to hold Coinbase responsible for losses. What did I say since 2018? What have I been saying? If you lose money in the bank, you are insured by the FDIC up to $250,000. When I was a kid, it used to be $100,000, but in 2008, because of the financial crisis, they changed it. I specifically was selling mortgages during that time, and I specifically remember IndyMac Bank was the one that went under. They had people lined up around the bank making runs on the bank, which is part of the reason why they had to do that bailout, because they didn't want Americans to know which banks were weak and which banks were strong. So what they did was they made all of the banks take the money, even if they didn't want it. And they made it so that you couldn't figure out which bank was weak and which bank was strong. Bottom line was they didn't want JP Morgan and Capital One and Wells Fargo. They didn't want those banks to end up like IndyMac. I remember IndyMac. I don't know if you remember IndyMac. Probably you don't. I remember IndyMac. I remember it very, very well. You were insured up to $100,000, and because of the IndyMac crisis, they bumped it up to $250,000. If anything happens to a dime out of my checking account or my savings account, all I got to do is call that bank and I get that money back. Or if worse came to worse, I call the FDIC, I get that money back. I'm insured up to $250,000 per account, and I have multiple accounts. Who do you call when your crypto disappears? The answer is nobody. Now, I was trying to tell people, you should invest in dividend-paying stock. Oh, no, but we can get dividends off of crypto. All you got to do is stake your crypto, and you get dividends. Just stake it. Half of these motherfucking idiots didn't even know what the word dividend meant. Dividends are when the company has profited and they split up some of that profit to pay their investors. Crypto don't make no fucking profit. But they convinced you that it did. Say, oh, no, we don't need no dividend. We don't need no dividend. No, we gonna stake our crypto. Crypto is based on 6 billion bit encryption. We got encryption stronger than the F-22. It can't even be hacked by military computers from the future. The Terminator T-800 can't hack it. Where are they now? Well, I'll tell you where they are. Over the past year, thousands of people have lost tens, if not hundreds of millions in cryptocurrency when gangs of sophisticated scammers whisk their money out of their accounts, which are managed by an app from the publicly traded cryptocurrency giant Coinbase, which, by the way, is way down right now in its stock value. Now those victims are fighting back. Nearly 100 people are trying to hold Coinbase accountable, saying the company didn't do enough to protect them. Scam victims say they notified the company, begging it to fix defects in the Coinbase wallet software that allowed the victims unknowingly to grant the scammers access to their accounts. Oh, boo-hoo. The requests were to no avail, scam victims said. They're trying to be a financial institution without the infrastructure to back it up. I fucking told you that, you morons. I told you that there was nothing backing you up. The dollar, what are you talking about? The dollar's not backed up. What backs up the U.S. dollar? And I've said this 100 times. You know what backs up the U.S. dollars? The cop who's right now on the next block patrolling my block backs up the US dollar. The fireman who's on my block right now backs up the US dollar. The teacher that's on my block that's teaching your dumbass kids backs up the US dollar. Who else we got? The guy who works on the train tracks, the railroad guy, he backs up the US dollar. There's an F-22 fighter jet sitting on a runway with nuclear bombs under its wingtips. That backs up the US dollar. There's a B-2 Spirit right now, either landing or taking off from a secret airbase somewhere, just ready to drop a nuke on any country that decides to start some shit. That backs up the US dollar. I don't need to mention Hiroshima and Nagasaki. That backs up the US dollar. There is a submarine right now, somewhere, that has tubes, and each tube has a nuclear missile pointed towards the sky. And the second some country decides to start some shit, those tubes are going to open up and set everybody in that country on fire. That backs up the US dollar. So don't ask me, please don't ask me what backs up the US dollar, because I hate to have to stop what I'm doing and explain it. So the bottom line is you had no backup. You had no insurance. You had no backup. There's nobody to call. Even if you sued Coinbase into the ground, it wouldn't really matter because the same morons would do the same exact shit. They'd invest in Webull, Trust Wallet, all of this shit that popped up so that y'all could illegally purchase XRP and illegally purchase these funds that aren't supposed to be traded right now because there's lawsuits against some of them by the government. And you think the government's not paying attention to what you're doing, but you'll find out. When the IRS comes to your doorstep and he's got a tax bill in one hand and he's got a dildo in the other one that's got lube all over it with KY jelly, that's when you'll understand what I was talking about. Now, you're not going to understand right away. I understand that. But when he shows up to your doorstep and he's got that, oh yeah, you see this? April 15th, you owe this much money. And he's got that big ass hardened rubber dildo. And it's just shining with KY jelly, just like in an H.R. Geiger alien movie. It's just shining with the KY jelly. It's almost translucent. That's how much is on there. That's when you'll understand what I'm talking about. But right now, you don't understand. You're going to understand. Biden hired, 85,000 IRS agents? And they out there buying up ammo? The IRS agents buying up ammo. That's when you're going to understand what I was talking about. That's when you're going to understand what backs up the US dollar. But see, you ain't trying to hear me, though. But you're going to hear me. You're going to hear me. You're going to hear me. You're going to hear me real well. Many of the victims lost their life savings. Well, who told you to put your life savings into Bitcoin? Who told you to go take out a mortgage on Bitcoin? Who told you to put your life savings in Ethereum? Who told you to put your life savings in Dogecoin? Who told you to put your life savings in XRP? Who told you to put your life savings in SafeMoon and SafeMars? Because I know I didn't. Who were you listening to? I don't know. Coinbase is committed to protecting it. Oh, okay. This is the typical thing that they release that says, yeah, well, we're doing the best we can as a company. But if y'all are so stupid that you want to keep giving us money despite the fact that we keep losing it in your face, well, we're not going to do anything less than take the money from you since you're so stupid that you want to keep handing us more money. No problem. We'll take it. Go ahead. Give us more money. Come on. Get my hat. Let me open it up. Here you go. Pass that around. Anybody wants to put money in it, put money in it because you're so smart. The The arbitration could be the start of a reckoning over whether crypto's ideology of self-reliance and software-driven governance can survive contact with the highly regulated mainstream financial system. If the arbitration demand results in an order that Coinbase reimburses its customers, it provides the possibility of a way forward for the victims of a massive ongoing scam that the Washington Post reported in April had already cost thousands of victims more than $60 million of losses. The individuals participating in the Coinbase arbitration demand, some of whom were scammed as late as this August, say they lost more than $21 million total. Well, how about we add in all the money that Nayib Bukele from El Salvador lost? How about we add in all the money that the know-it-all government-subsidized welfare queen Elon Musk lost when he bought Bitcoin using Tesla's money, the shareholders' money, the money that the shareholders trusted him with. I'm still waiting for Bitcoin to go to 100,000, guys, but I'm just not seeing it. Why is that? Because it's not going to 100,000. You will be lucky if it ever gets back to 30,000. You'll be lucky to see it get there. And I don't think that's going to happen because the whales have pulled out and now you're the biggest bag holders the world has ever seen. You can't sell now even if you wanted to. How about that? Many were forced by Coinbase's wallet's terms of service to turn to arbitration instead of challenging them through the U.S. courts. The decision of the arbitrator won't set a formal legal precedent, but will help answer one of the top questions of the burgeoning crypto era. Do the existing rules of the financial system apply to cryptocurrency companies? Well, from what I know, and I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a constitutional scholar, but from what I know, there are restrictions on what the government can do to money, but there are no restrictions on what they can do to not money. So when you're talking about regulations, well, the government has already shown you that they can jump into your video game and they can tell you whether or not microtransactions are allowed up to a certain point. The problem is you have a lot of these dumbass kids who would spend their last dime from their parents' pockets on fucking microtransactions. If they could have a rainbow-colored AK-47 in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, they would have it even if it cost them $100 in a microtransaction to buy, just so they could flex on everybody and show everybody, yes, guess what? I have a rainbow-colored LGBTQ AK-47. And that's the reality. There are kids, there was one kid in the news, and you can look it up. His father was sleeping, and this little bastard came into his father's room, and while his father was sleeping, used his father's thumbprint on his iPhone while his father was sleeping in order to purchase things on the phone. And the father wakes up later on to find a big-ass bill waiting for him. That's where you are right now. That's where you are right now. Unlike other scams in which someone is fooled into sending money somewhere, in this scheme, the individual's money was stolen straight out of their accounts. After meeting the victims through social media, dating apps, or wrong number texts. Well, here's a question, guys. Who the fuck keeps on talking to somebody who's a wrong number text? Are you that lonely? Are you really that lonely that you're that stupid? Dating app? You mean to tell me that you people haven't figured out that most of these dating apps are filled with bots, just like Twitter and just like Facebook? Self-aggrandizing bots that are put there to convince you that somebody actually is listening to the stupid shit you're saying and somebody out there cares about you, which they don't even exist. I can't even say they don't care about you. They don't exist because they are bots. You don't see a scam coming when you see a scam come. You don't even see it coming. It's like that Nigerian email scam where, the guy tells you I'm a Nigerian prince and I need your help laundering money. And you're just so greedy and stupid that you say, oh yeah, you know what? If I help him launder the money, I could keep a couple of those million on the side. So what do? You give him all your email, you give him all of your contact information, you give him Oh, you give them your bank routing numbers. And then what do? You go and you start planning a list of all the stuff you're going to buy when you inherit that $10 million from the Nigerian prince. You guys are sad. Well, but you know what? There's an old saying, a fool and their money will soon be parted. That's the saying. That's the saying. The certificate wasn't real and the process wasn't really a payment. Clicking on these innocuous-looking vouchers would record a single line of computer code granting the scammers permission to steal crypto deposited into an account weeks or months later. So this is what's really happening. Most of these people put their money into this shit, couldn't get their money out, or weren't willing to take their money out because they were so convinced that it was going to 100,000 or that Ethereum was going to 10,000 or 50,000. They were so convinced that XRP Ripple was going to $30 or $50 or $100. They refused to take their money out. So their money sat right there like a gift-wrapped package on their front lawn for whoever was willing to take the time to drive by your house, get out of the car, walk to your lawn, and steal the package. Think about that for a second. It's not Coinbase's fault that you're so stupid that you gave them your money. You should have known better, but you were so greedy that you didn't. Whatever happens, if the courts do rule in favor of these snowflakes, fine. I don't care because I didn't lose anything. But it's like when I see stories like this, I'm just automatically inundated with all of the voices in the back of my mind from everybody who ever argued with me about crypto or about short squeezes. I hear their voices, but where are they now?